what's up? Welcome to episode 13 of the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast with me. I'm Jamie, and this is Laura.
Hey.
And we're the badass trainers and nutrition coaches that host this podcast. What you got for me today?
No, like banter in the beginning. We're just gonna go like right into it.
So how's your day? I already know. I should just hit record as soon as we enter the room. I should just hit record. So all the banter we have naturally just gets recorded.
Yeah.
I already know that you woke up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I already know that you feel dumb.
Yep.
But that is still probably a good time to do a podcast because later you will feel more dumb.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we're good. What do you do when you get up at 3 a.m.? Like, do you get up and be productive, or do you lay in bed unproductively trying to go back to sleep for like 2 hours?
I lay in bed unproductively and try to go back to sleep.
Yeah, but you just never do? Do you do this like drifting in and out state, or is it just like
nope, I'm
wide awake?
Wide awake.
Sucks.
It does, and we know how important sleep is.
We do.
For building muscle and everything.
Is there anything that wakes you up? Can you tie it to something? Like Wayne did something in his sleep, or there was a noise?
Sometimes that happens. Like last week, I mean, just recently it stopped. I was sick, so I kept coughing. You ever have those dry coughs and you wake up and you have like coughing attacks? It's so freaking frustrating. So like every couple hours I would wake up, but I was able to fall back asleep. When it's like this, it's different. It usually happens. So there's two things that can cause this. One is I'm very anxious. So I have a lot of things on my mind. And even if I fall asleep, and even if those things aren't on my mind anymore, sometimes I'll still wake up. It's like I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, but
your subconscious won't allow you to rest. Keep thinking about the things.
But that wasn't the case this time. The other thing that causes it is right around like the week before my period, this happens, and that's where I'm at. And I think it's something to do with your hormones. It's like one of them is high, and it causes you to not be able to sleep through the night. So it's something to do with my hormones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have trouble falling asleep the week before my period. I don't wake up. I'm dead to the world, but I have trouble falling asleep. Like my mind's just kind of running, and anything will wake me up. And if I'm in that drifting zone and there's a tiny little thing, like it could be Donovan breathing, and I feel this sense of rage, like I could punch somebody. I get so mad.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, my family is mildly scared of me when I'm either just woke up or like have been woken up. I have a
sound machine. I need it otherwise.
Well, I use this. I haven't been needing it lately, but that week before my period, I need it because if any noise, like I will rage. So, all right. What you got for me?
All right. First, I'm going to start with a fun question and then more serious questions.
Okay.
All right. So if money wasn't a issue at all, what would be some dream equipment that you would add to your home gym? Like, what would you love to have in your home gym?
That's a really good question. I was just talking to somebody else about this. You know what I would really love to have is like a badass cable machine with like the double cables, so you could do like flies and crossovers. Like I would love to have a massive cable machine. And it's funny because it's not just money that makes it a non-object right now. Like if I wanted one, it's attainable. It's not like outlandish. It's expensive, but like it could happen. But I acquired a cable machine once it wasn't free, but it was a very low cost. Like it was being sold on like Facebook Marketplace. And when we were living in Germany, and I bought it, and he took it all apart for me. And when I arrived, the reality of a taken apart cable machine was like, I don't know why I didn't stop and consider what that would be like. It was just cables and pulleys intertwined with more cables and pulleys. And it was a nightmare. And we were able to get it back to the house, but because it was a used item, we didn't have like a manual to tell us how to put it together. Nothing was like wrapped, and it literally sat in my shed, a shambled mess, until I ended up just giving it away to somebody else. And I was like, have fun figuring this out. So it's funny, I was talking to my friend who's military, and he was saying, like, I think I'm going to invest in a cable machine. He was talking about, it's like, I want one of those, it's got the double. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. I was like, yeah, you just got to make sure that when you get that, you are in your forever home. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, and I told him that story, and he was like, God damn it, we're going to be moving every 2 years. I was like, don't do it, man. Just, it's going to be awful. So that was kind of like a double response. That was the first thing that came to my mind. What is yours, though?
I would love a cable machine like that. I should say space isn't, like, if you had enough space for all this stuff too, because that's my issue more than money really is. I don't have space for things. I would love one of those hack squat machine leg press combinations. Yep. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah. And I don't have anything to do leg extensions right now, so I would like something to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to solve. You could get a bench with the extender.
They just take up so much more room, and I don't have a lot of room.
I mean, speaking of space, if money were no object, I think the thing I would buy would be a guy that constructs space in your home. I would buy Wayne. I would buy his services, your husband.
I know.
I would fly him to my house. And I would, you know what I would do? I would fly, if money were no object, this is what I would get at my home gym. I would fly Wayne to my house. I would have him build a second story on my house. And then also add an addition to the back. And can he build pools? I might have him build me a pool.
He could do the excavation for the pool.
Cool. So he'll excavate a pool and replace the sewer while he's at it. I mean, money's no object. So just go do all of it. And then build me an addition. And then I would outfit the gym as if it were like a commercial gym. I get a hack squat machine. I get the pulleys. I put TVs in like every corner. So I was visiting a friend of ours that moved from Germany, and actually the husband I trained when we were in Germany at one point. And so we obviously bonded a lot over strength training. I taught his wife how to sumo deadlift, and she's now like badass. So we just like strength training in general has like been a common bond, and they're friends anyway, aside from that. But so when we went to visit in Maryland, as they moved back to Maryland, and we went to visit them, and he was like, I got to show you the gym. So he brought me downstairs, and they have this like L-shaped basement. So he has his gym equipment like in an L shape. So if you're on one end of it, you can't see somebody on the other end of it, even though it's not actually that big. It's just the shape of it. And he has a TV like at 3 different intervals. He's got one at like one end of the L, one in the corner where the L sticks meet, and then one at the other end of the L. And they all connected, so he can like play something from his phone, and they'll go on all 3 TVs. So no matter where you are in the gym, you can like watch TV.
That's cool.
I was just like so inspired. I have TVs like everywhere.
I don't watch TV when I'm working out.
I don't either.
So I don't need one.
I just feel like, I mean, you could even put on YouTube playlists.
Yeah,
that would be cool, because there's some good playlists, and if you get like good music videos,
that's cool. That's a good idea.
I think that's what I would do.
Yeah,
and then there's sometimes, when I don't feel like working out, it's twofold. When I don't feel like doing it, sometimes the best way to get me through a workout is to watch a show, because it's like I'm slightly distracted, but then my workout's not necessarily that great. I'm just getting through it. But I'm also very aware that feeling like working out is often a mindset. And if I just get out of that freaking mindset, and usually it involves changing my environment, getting out of my crappy, if I woke up feeling a little, so I put on some like just cozy, like clothes, like, nope, get out of that crap, put your good stuff on, like put on some good music, get outside, get some sun, drink some water, hype yourself up. Then the workout, like I'm fine. But if I don't feel like going through that process of like changing my environment, then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to watch a show and I'm just going to get through this. So it would work for that too. Just put a show on.
I need it for cardio. Like if I'm going to do any kind of cardio.
100%. Well, if it's like steady state cardio.
Yeah.
You're not watching TV while you're doing HIIT sprints.
No.
Probably.
No. Definitely
Unless, what would be cool is if you just do your sprints on like the commercial breaks.
Yeah. I could do that.
Getting all kinds of ideas here, man.
I was like, I know I had things to say, but they disappear. Um, Eventually, at our property, we're going to build a big garage, and I'm going to have a huge space
That's
that I'm going
cool.
to be able to have as much stuff as I want.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, and I'm excited for that. One day, I don't know when that will be, but
Yeah,
one day,
one day.
one day.
We're moving back to San Antonio in 9.5 months. Nope, it's still 10 months. I'm counting down if you can't tell. 10 months. And we decided to put our gym in our garage, which it wasn't in the garage before. It was in this like living room area. So we're going to put it in the garage to make more space in our house. We can utilize that space. I'm kind of excited because I'm rethinking, like, it's a bigger space. First of all, it's a concrete floor. We're also going to put, like, we've got the garage doors on the front, the typical garage doors, but my husband's talking about on the back of putting in like a double doors that open up because it goes right out to the backyard. And so having that, and then we want to put in a pool. So now I'm imagining this, like, oh man, I'm going to be out there. It's going to be 80, 90 degrees. I'm going to open the doors. I'm going to sweat my balls off, the ones that I have.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump in the pool and I'm going to squat in my bathing suit. It's going to be like epic. That's my dream. So if money were no object, I'd put a pool outside of my gym, but we're going to be putting it in the garage. And so I'm rethinking things. Like, we definitely could get like a good cable machine. I have to look at, I don't even know how much those run. Do you know how much like a really good cable machine runs?
A couple thousand, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
Like
see.
if you get the, what's it called? It has a name. But
Nautilus?
yeah, I think they're, no.
Rogue?
It's not the brand. It's just a call.
Oh.
I don't know the name of the type of cable machine.
Yeah, we'll see. Eventually.
It does help having a husband who can do things. I appreciate him so much. And building this shed for me was amazing. Like,
oh yeah,
how lucky am I?
Oh yeah,
that I have this space that's mine, and he did it. Like, it didn't take that long,
No, I remember you'd message me and be like, "Oh look, it's a room now. Like, there's walls." Just every weekend, you guys are just chipping away at it. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it's nice. He did actually find something where I think when we moved to, we're going to put in, I always go back and forth whether I want an in-ground pool, above ground pool. In-ground pools are so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But he did find a way that he could do it himself. So he can do the excavation, and then there's like kits that they have that you can actually do the pool yourself.
Wow.
So we might be able to do that too, in-ground.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I have seen some really nice above ground pool designs though.
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah. So
some of them are cool, like with a swim up bar and thing around it. And yeah.
That would be cool. A kit, man. Even if we wanted to do it that way, our ground is very shifty. We live in like a clay area. It's real shifty. And you got to get like engineers to build that. Otherwise, if it cracks, you're screwed. So I don't want to mess with it.
No. All right.
Anyway, good stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. All right. My next question is because I feel like when people first get started, trying to find a good program to follow can be challenging. I know when I first started lifting, I didn't understand what a good workout program looked like. Mm-hmm. So I used to do a lot of beach body and that kind of stuff, which isn't programmed very well. And so I didn't understand, what a good program would look like. So what are some things that you should look for when you are starting to get into this and lifting and all of that? What are some things you should look for in the program?
Yeah. What to look for if you're just starting out and you want a program to follow. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be as close to like optimal as possible.
Yeah.
What to look for? I mean, even
if you have some experience, just like what a good program should have in it.
Yeah. Okay. One of the first things I think about is steering away from body part or quote unquote bro splits. So if you see like chest, arms, legs, glutes, like all in separate days, that's something I would steer away from. I would look for something that either is full body training that has like only like 3 or 4 days to it, not like full body every single day. Because as we've talked about, you can get away with that if you really know what you're doing. But this person looking for a program is not that person. And so don't don't do that. So if it's full body, it really needs to be spaced out. But more ideally would be like an upper lower body split, or a push pull legs could be good. But if you're seeing chest day, arms day, glutes day, like I would steer away from anything like that.
Even push pull legs, to do it, like to make it optimal 6 days, you'd have to work out 6 days, so that can be challenging for people too.
Yeah, but if I'm trying to think of like a dividing line that makes it really easy, because then you start throwing in different variables, like, oh, body part splits aren't that good, but push pull legs is kind of medium, but maybe go for like upper body, you know.
Yeah,
so if I had
yeah.
to like draw a line, I would say like if you see body parts listed in the days, no. If it's not
That's
body
true.
parts, then it's probably fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Butt day. Don't do that one. I also would scan it to here's two things in one. I would scan it to see if there's any one, first of all, if there's any more than, I'm going to go on a limb and say 7 exercises per workout. It's probably not great.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any cardio moves listed within, so if it's like do a deadlift but then do burpees, like, so if you're seeing cardio moves in there, if you're seeing like plyometric drills with embedded in, and or if there are more than around 7 exercises per day, that's not gonna be a great one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Those are my 3.
think you got, like, that was definitely a big one that I was thinking of, is like a lot of times people will make workouts hard, but they're not actually effective. So if you see a bunch of stuff in there that just makes it hard, but it's not actually doing anything. So having things like burpees, and there should be an order to the exercises. It shouldn't just be like a bunch of things thrown together. So normally it's going to be like your bigger compound exercises first, and then you go down to isolation exercises. So if you just see like a whole mixture of a hodgepodge of exercises, is probably not good. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know if you covered. I think you covered mostly everything. Oh, doesn't change exercises every week. You know,
Oh
like,
yeah.
so yeah. So like sometimes it'll be like, this week we're doing this. Next week you have to be able to do. You want to do the same exercises multiple weeks in a row so that you actually can progress at them and get better at them and add weight to them and all of that. And if you're mixing it up, you won't really be able to. You won't even know how to track your progress if you're actually, improving.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard enough as it is for some people to track their progress, even with an app. That I have a client that was just did her form video, and I looked at it and I was like, that's really light.
Yeah.
Like that's what, and then I looked at her history. I was like, that's like way lighter than you normally do. And her response was like, oh, I forgot to look at the history. It's like, it's the whole point of, I love you so much, but that's the whole point of tracking.
Yeah.
You need to know,
Right.
so you know what to grow on. But you can imagine if you're not doing the same thing every week, like, oh, Romanian deadlifts again. It's been 4 weeks. I don't know what I did. I don't remember. Yeah, you don't know. You can't actually progressively overload if you're doing random things every week. That's the thing. That's the main point. And if you're trying to strength train to grow muscle and grow strength, you need to be progressively overloading. You're not trying to just keep an elevated heart rate. That's cardio. And if you're taking a cardio mindset into strength training, then you're doing it wrong, and you're not doing either one effectively. You're not doing strength training effectively or cardio effectively.
Yeah. And proper rest times. Make sure that you're resting in between, and you're not going from this to this
30-second,
to this.
Yeah, so if you see a program that's like butt day, and it starts with like cable kickbacks, and then it goes into like donkey kicks, and then there's like 30-second breaks in between, maybe mixed up with some burpees, and then deadlifts are at the end. Yeah. That program sucks.
That's terrible.
It's the worst program ever. I'd almost prefer, like, let's say this hypothetical program I just laid out, or workout of a program I just laid out for like butt day or glutes day was real. If it was between, okay, this hypothetical one, A, has only 6 exercises, but it's like embedded with burpees, and it starts with cable kickbacks and it ends with deadlifts, I'd almost rather one that has way more exercises, maybe even it's like too much volume, but it starts with deadlifts, and it starts with the combo, the comment, not the combo movements, compound exercises, and then goes down, so that anything you might cut out at the end would at least be like more
Yeah.
isolation stuff. I think I'd
Yeah,
almost
that
rather
makes
have that,
sense.
even though that's not great either to have too many exercises, too much
Yeah.
volume. But
I mean, at the end, you're probably, if you do the exercises, you're just wasting your time. It's not like it's going to really because most likely you're not going to be able to do them at a very high intensity by the time you get there. So it's not like, I don't think it would even really mess with your recovery. Nobody is going like balls to the wall with all exercises. So it's just like a waste
right,
of time once you get down to the
right,
bottom.
yeah,
That brings me to make sure that there is exercises that are challenging and that you can take close to failure in the right rep ranges. So things like donkey kicks, you probably it's really hard to continue to progress those. Whereas a deadlift, easy, you just keep adding weight to it. Find exercises. Like for me, a push-up isn't really a great exercise anymore because I can do so many of them, but I can do like a decline push-up or a deficit push-up or different variations of it to make it more challenging. Make sure that it's exercises that you can progress and make more challenging every week, and you're not just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
yep, yep, that was a good one.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got for you.
Cool. You want to talk about fiber?
Fiber? All right, we can talk about fiber.
I asked somewhere on Facebook for some. What would you guys like to hear on
Mm-hmm.
our next podcast? And somebody said the importance of fiber. So I was like,
Okay.
"How lovely of you to bring that up! It's like my favorite topic."
Yeah.
Uh, did you know that for every 10 grams of fiber you eat, you have a 10% decrease in all-cause mortality?
I didn't know those exact statistics, no, but I do know
And did
that.
you know that it's for every 10 grams of fiber, you have a 10% decrease in all cause mortality. But for every 10 grams of fiber, you have a 17% decrease in death from cardiovascular disease
Mm,
specifically.
makes
Yep.
sense. Makes
And
sense.
there's lots of reasons for that. So people say, well, why? And one of them is the way that fiber, like eating foods high in particularly in soluble fibers. There's two types of fiber, right? There's soluble, which like dissolves in water basically and
Mm-hmm.
becomes kind of jelly-ish. And then
Yep.
there's insoluble fiber, which basically just adds bulk.
Yeah.
But soluble fiber in particular binds to cholesterol
Mm-hmm.
in your digestive system and helps to remove it. And it will basically reduce total cholesterol, which we know that high cholesterol, specifically LDL or like bad cholesterol,
Yeah.
is an issue with your heart health.
Yeah. I love like fiber and protein are like the magical nutrients.
Yes.
If you just focused your diet on eating protein and fiber, especially if you're getting it from whole food sources, not things where it's added in, you will most likely have a very, very healthy diet
Yes.
because foods that have protein in it are very nutrient dense, and foods that have fiber in them are very nutrient dense. So you're going to have a very nutrient dense diet. They're also very filling, so you're less likely to overeat. And they both are just themselves are very beneficial nutrients. So just focusing on those two things could really make a difference in somebody's overall diet.
And not to mention people who are scared of carbs because insulin.
Mm-hmm.
you know um if this person stops focusing so much on not eating carbs and just focused on getting protein and fiber in every
Mm-hmm.
meal, fiber and protein both slow the digestion of everything that you're eating down. So let's say you eat a donut, and that donut's actually a bad example because a donut has a pretty good amount of fat in it, and fat's going to slow down that digestion as well. But let's say you eat just, I don't know, a piece of white bread.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to have high blood sugar after eating that bread. That's not necessarily bad. Blood sugar spikes are normal, but if you ate that bread with protein and with fiber and with other thing, maybe some fat, you're going to slow down your body's absorption basically of those sugars, and you're going to keep a more stable blood sugar
Yeah.
levels, which is overall good for insulin sensitivity. And so I always tell people, Stop focusing. Some of you and I have talked about this. Stop focusing on all the things you need to cut out and focus on the things you need to add, and keep it
Yeah.
simple. 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal, 7 to 10 grams of fiber, like you said, from natural foods if you can, as much as you can per meal.
Mm-hmm. Um,
That's it.
Gut health too.
Oh,
Fiber
yeah.
is amazing for gut health. The soluble fiber. I think the soluble fiber it's prebiotic, so it feeds all of the good bacteria in your gut. And I actually feel like prebiotics are more important than probiotics. Everyone focuses on the probiotics, which
Mm-hmm.
don't work as well as prebiotics do. So focusing on getting that fiber could really help heal your gut. And we don't know all the things about your gut yet. We're still learning things, but I feel like it's, a lot of the diseases can be that we have, especially like autoimmune diseases, can be
Yep.
prevented with, gut health. So,
There's so much research starting to come out and emerge about the link between your gut microbiome, and
mhm.
so many things that's going on with your body. Not
Yeah.
just like diseases, like autoimmune diseases, 100%, but also like brain health and mood and regulation
Hmm.
of anxiety and depression and your sleep. So many
Yeah.
things, in your body, and the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Your concentration, your immunity, your immune system. Like a strong immune system is strongly linked to a strong gut microbiome. So many things are connected to that strong microbiome and gut microbiome. And people, I think, feel like, even just the word like gut microbiome, what the heck am I supposed to eat to
Yeah.
get a strong, just whole foods? Like, you don't even have to think about it that hard. If you just aim for your diet to be 90% whole foods, you don't have to think about it, because you'll naturally get there.
Yeah. It takes a little while, but it's definitely like you can heal it. That's the good part. Like if your gut's all messed up, you can still improve it and heal it and get better over time by
Yep.
doing that. So I love fiber for that.
Yeah. I
And,
love
and
fiber.
I love fiber. Yeah. And I know there's like studies where people will point to like vegans or vegetarians who will say like, oh, meat is bad for you. Because there's studies that'll show that, people who eat a lot of meat don't live as long or have more diseases and things. But then when they show studies where those same people get enough fiber, it's the same. Like, so it's not the meat, it's
Exactly.
just that they're not getting enough fiber.
Yep.
And having those two together, I think, yeah, definitely.
Yep. It's
And,
correlation, not causation.
yeah. And I even wonder with the fiber if it's causation or correlation. Some of it's causation because we know like it lowers your cholesterol, those things. But is it the fiber, or is it because foods that contain fiber are like some of the healthiest foods that you can eat, that have
Exactly.
all these other things in them also. So,
Exactly. So if you're focusing on whole food sources of fiber, you're going to be eating things like berries and fruits and
yeah.
vegetables and sweet potatoes and
Yeah.
whole grains instead of their white counterparts, which, again, white bread, white rice is not bad at all. They're not bad, but if you have their whole grain counterparts, you're going to be having a higher fiber diet. So,
Yeah, there's just more benefits. It's
so many
like
more
I call the
benefits.
other foods like medium foods. It's not like it's going to hurt you, but you're
Right.
not really getting a ton of benefit by eating white bread.
Yeah, it's not doing much for you. It's not giving you
No.
much. It's
No.
I don't want to say empty calories, because I don't like that phrasing in general. It's not completely empty either. It gives
No.
you
Just like
energy. It
getting some
gives,
carbs. Yeah.
yeah, sure. But you need the other stuff. So,
Yeah.
I like to make sure like 80%, and that's a good. I like to make sure that probably about 80% of the carbs I'm eating are packaged with lots of fiber and nutrients, meaning
Mm.
fruits, and I'm eating whole grains, and maybe a little bit more than that. I'll have, I have Oreos, I have
Yeah.
rice, I have white bread, but for the most part, it's
Yeah. I don't.
the
Yeah,
good
I
stuff.
do that too. The one I would probably eat the most is white pasta.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably the one I get the most.
You
That
know what I
isn't.
eat is, have you ever had the Barilla high protein pasta? It's in a yellow
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I do. It doesn't. It tastes a little bit different, but not so much where I don't like it. Because I used to eat back in the day when I wouldn't eat gluten and things. So I would have rice pasta, and it's fine, but it's like kind of chewy. It's a little different.
Hmm.
Whereas that it actually doesn't taste. that much different. I don't notice a big difference, so I
Have
like
you
it.
had Banza pasta before?
I
It's in
don't
an
think so.
orange box. It's like pure chickpea pasta, basically,
I
and
probably
it's
wouldn't like
fine.
that.
It's fine, but
Yeah,
it's not
it's not
like the rate
pasta.
the
Yeah.
yeah, the radar always for me is if my kids can tell. If your kids can tell, and if your kids refuse to eat it, then it's probably not that delicious. And that's Banza pasta for me. And I don't know. I see a lot of people eating Banza pasta, and I'm just not a huge fan. But the Barilla, I think they don't use complete chickpea flour. They use it's like part
No.
chickpea and part wheat. So the
Yeah.
texture is my kids gobble it up. I love it. I don't remember the last time I had like white spaghetti because we
Yeah.
eat that and I really like it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think it's the mixture of the two, so it's not too
Yeah.
much. Yeah, the balance.
Awesome. So soluble versus insoluble fiber. What are some sources of soluble versus insoluble fiber? Do you know off the top of your head?
So soluble fiber, I don't know all of them, but I know it's in like bananas and oats and asparagus and legumes.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like the easiest type of fiber to get is probably soluble because it's so many things. Would you agree?
yeah, yeah. It's hard to get. You have to eat a lot of whole foods to like very diverse because it's not like there's a ton of it in one thing. So
When some have like oats have soluble and insoluble fiber, so there's lots of
yeah.
foods that will have both. I looked them up first because I wanted to make sure I said them correctly. But foods that are high in soluble fiber, a lot of fruits, so like apples, citrus fruits, berries, vegetables, like you said, Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, oats in particular, barley, and like you said, beans and lentils and peas have a lot of soluble fiber. So do some nuts and seeds. And then of course, a lot of people supplement with psyllium husk. So
Mm-hmm.
that is soluble as well. And insoluble fiber, so things that add bulk basically to your I don't like the word stool, but I'm going to say it. It add bulk
That's
to your
funny. I
stool.
was thinking the same thing. Like the word stool, I can't say. I have to say poop.
I don't like that. I like that one even less.
I
I
like
don't like
poop
to
better than
talk about
stool.
things like that involve that.
We all
Anyway,
do it. We all poop.
nope. Mm-mm. I don't like it at
No.
all. You know
Imagine
what?
if we didn't. We'd just be full of crap. Literally.
Remind me, keyword dogs. I'm going to go through some insoluble
Uh-oh.
fiber. Okay.
Okay.
Um, insoluble fiber, whole grains. So most whole grains are going to have insoluble fiber, whole grain pasta, whole grain crackers, cereals, oats, buckwheat, fruits and vegetables. So a lot of fruits with the edible peel, like even like apples or edible seeds, that's insoluble fiber. So apples, pears, etc. Green beans, some potatoes, and some nuts and seeds. So it's a lot of the same like
Same
list
stuff.
the same before. So there's definitely insoluble and soluble fiber in a lot of foods.
I get a lot of it from chia seeds. Love chia seeds. What are some of your favorite
Mm-hmm.
sources that you get it from?
Yeah, chia. I put a tablespoon of chia seed in my smoothies.
Me too.
I love Dave's or Ezekiel bread. I'll have two pieces of that with like egg salad on top. I like sweet potatoes. You know what I'm into right now is like lima beans. And the reason
That's
I got into lima beans is because I was looking for edamame, and just here on a base, on a military base, it's so hard to find certain things. And shelled
mhm.
edamame is one of those things. And you know, I live in Korea. I feel like I should be able to find these on the shelves, but I can't
Yeah,
find shelled edamame.
that's funny.
Yeah. And so I ended up with lima beans because lima beans aren't as high in protein or
Hmm.
fiber as edamame, but they're pretty high actually. And so I've been throwing them into my veggie mixtures and stuff. So lima beans have been beans in general, pinto beans, black beans. I eat beans most days. Beans and lentils.
Yeah,
Lentils usually more in the winter because I have lentil soups and stuff.
yeah,
Oh, and you know what else? Speaking of soups, is like squashes, like a butternut squash,
yeah.
acorn squash is really high in fiber. I love those winter squashes. I love to throw them in soups. You can use them to make a like a chicken broth taste almost like kind of sweet and give it
Hmm.
like a thick kind of like buttery taste to it, and you're just adding fiber straight to your broth.
Mm.
How about you?
Similar things. I love peas, raspberries, asparagus. and broccoli. Those are most of the, like, yeah,
Raspberries are
fruits,
super high in fiber.
apples. Yeah, raspberries are really high in fiber.
Raspberries are 8 grams of fiber per cup. So if I'm ever in a fiber need for myself or my
Yeah,
kids, we always have frozen raspberries in the
raspberries.
freezer. Yep, I'll blend
Yeah.
them up into a sorbet. Just add honey. My kids gobble it up. Throw them into a smoothie. Raspberries.
Raspberries.
Get the raspberries. So speaking of raspberries, I want to tell
Oh,
you
dog first.
what I don't like about dogs
Okay.
because it relates to it's nothing to do with raspberries, but it is related to stool. Is you know what I can't stand? So I don't like body parts and functions so much so that like it really bothers me that dogs have like butts and penises. Like it bothers me. And I don't want to see it. So like I want it to be very small and very unassuming. And I almost want to pretend it doesn't exist. And I don't know why I'm like this, but I will know instantly. I love all dogs, but if you can see its butthole all the time, I could never own it. I could never own a dog where its butthole is just constantly on display.
So, like, I had a husky and it had the curly tail.
But is it
Like,
fluffy enough that it kind of like hides
well,
it?
oh, I guess you could. Yeah, she was fluffy. Yeah, you couldn't really see it back
So
there.
like forgivable.
Yeah.
But a dog that has very short hair and an upturned tail, I can't. Or a docked tail, or a short haired dog with a docked tail is like my worst nightmare. And we watched this pug. Oh god, I can't handle it. Oh, we watched this pug, sweetest thing. I love all dogs. Like I would say yes 10 times over because I just love all dogs. But this pug is probably one of my least favorite breeds. But they are some of the most. It's like one of the most loved breeds is a pug.
I don't. I don't get. Well, I have
I don't.
thoughts after. But keep going.
The breathing. I mean, there's so many things, right? But this dog in particular also was like 13, so it's very old. Just like real long nails, and like turned in feet. And I was like looking at her, and the owner told me she's like, "Oh, you're gonna love her. Like everybody wants to keep her because everybody loves pugs." And I was
Yeah.
like, "I think we'll be good. Like I'm so
Yeah.
happy to have her, but it'll be fine. Like it'll be good." So she came, she was great. But one of the things the owner told me when she dropped her off is like, "Oh, she's deaf, so sometimes she doesn't really bark to let Tibby go out. She'll just stand at the door. So the two ways you know she needs to go to the bathroom is if she's standing at the door or if her like butt starts to turn inside out." I was like, "Oh god." And then the dog just happened at that moment to go to the bathroom and they were like, "Oh yeah, see how her butt like starts to turn inside out right before she," and I was like, I can't do this. Like this is not can't. I mean, I did,
I
but I can't.
do, I don't understand who, what, because most dogs are bred for a purpose, right? Who, like, that was a mistake. It can't
Totally.
breathe. It's so, like, its eyes are like, what, who did this? And it's mean. Like, why?
But did you know they were miniaturized from mastiffs?
I didn't know that.
Think about that.
I probably
Isn't that
researched it
interesting?
before, but that's like crazy. So what did they do?
I you know,
What did they breed it with?
when you miniaturize it, and I don't know if it's breeding it with something. I think it's just like
A smaller version.
you
And
take the puppy that was the smallest and the other puppy
Yeah.
that was the smallest, you put them together. Oh, look, one has a kind of squished face. I like that. Oh, look, that one over there is a
Yeah.
kind of squished. Let's breed them. And then you just keep going for like thousands of years and you get this thing. And everything got miniaturized because, but it's similar with, what's that one dog that is like the number one top dog right now is a French Bulldog. They have the same issues. And my friend has a French Bulldog. I swear, I don't know how that thing breathes. When it opens its mouth, like in the back, it's just a straight line. Like, I don't know how anything gets back there.
I feel
It's
like it's
awful.
cruel. I feel
It
like
is
it's
cruel.
cruel. Why did we do this?
I don't know. But now
Why?
I know with French Bulldogs, the more common standard, so like, with show dogs and stuff, they're starting to pull out the face. So if you look at like a French Bulldog that is like show quality, the face is starting to get pulled out, which is good.
Yeah.
Because that squished face it's awful.
Like, I just don't get it.
It's awful.
Like, just look at a pug. It looks like an alien. A pug looks like an alien. It looks like it doesn't belong here. It's
Yeah. Again, I love all dogs, But I really do like dogs that have some kind of athletic purpose. Well, I don't know. That's partly true. What were poodles bred? Because I like a small fluffy dog, but I don't want it to be a dumb fluffy dog, like a Pomeranian. I have no interest in that. But I would
Yeah.
like a poodle.
Yeah.
I don't
don't like
know.
small dogs. The only one I like is, what is it? It's like some kind of American Eskimo dog or something, and it's like a little white fluffy. It looks more like a snow dog, but little, and it's cute.
Interesting. Yep.
But I just don't like the little ones. They're yippity, and I don't know. I
My
like my bigger dogs
my
or medium.
cousins.
I don't like the huge ones either. Not that I
Oh,
don't like them. I just wouldn't want to own one.
could you imagine having like a Bernese Mountain Dog or
My Oh, those are beautiful. They just don't live
beautiful.
very long.
What's the other one though? The Beethoven dog, Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard.
Oh, I would not want a Saint Bernard.
My mom, no, they're all drooly too. My
Yeah.
mom had a Mastiff, a Tibetan Mastiff, I think it was.
Oh wow.
Huge dog. Too big for me.
Yeah. My cousins just got a Pomsky. Have you ever heard of a
I
Pomsky?
don't know what that is.
It's a new designer breed and it's a Pomeranian Husky, but it's not just a Pomeranian and a Husky that had a baby. It's like it was formed from the ideas of a Pomeranian and a Husky, but it really is its own breed now. So they literally look like a miniature Husky.
That sounds cool.
I'll have to send you a picture after this. It is the cutest thing. And it's only going to get they're not Pomeranians are like super small. I think they
Yeah.
get somewhere in the middle of medium and
Okay.
small. I think they're somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, because Huskies
Holy.
aren't that big. They're not. They're like more of a like small medium dog. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
I
this
think
dog is
ours
so
was only
cute.
like 40, 50 pounds or something. They're not very big.
Yeah. Well, buttholes.
Dog talk.
So good stuff.
Good tangent.
Good tangent. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
And all right. I was going to say, all right, go. Easy nutrient dense protein and iron intake while on the go.
On the
She said
go.
dinner and usually as long as I don't wake up late or get wrapped up with kids' school schedule, breakfast is no problem. But lunch is tough when life gets in the way and I don't meal prep. So obviously she said right away, when life gets in the way and I don't meal prep, if you meal prep, you can get iron and protein in very easily. But what if you're on the go, you're in a crunch, you've got to stop by somewhere to get food and you want to make sure it's high in protein and iron? Well, iron's usually found in most protein sources.
It's that's one of the reasons I think people have a hard time getting protein is because you do most sources of protein you have to prep. It's really hard to just find on the go sources. Um for like a lunch, things that are canned, like tuna fish or something like that, or
Honestly, if
there's not very many.
this person said iron, which means they care about their nutrients, and maybe they have a specific reason they're saying iron, but they care about nutrition. They're not
Yeah.
they're not just caring about macros. They're caring about deeper than just getting enough protein in. So, and I can identify with this. So if it was me and I was like, I didn't have time to meal prep and I will sacrifice my taste buds and my enjoyment of this meal in order to make sure I get in my nutrition, I would go to a grocery store, I get a can of black beans, I'd get a can of spinach, and I'd get either like a packet of tuna or a packet of salmon. You look like you really like my meal.
It
Does it sound really good? Some kind of prep protein. You can go into the salad areas where they have the little packaged pieces of chicken. You can go like there's this little prepackaged thing. You throw those in a can of black beans, can of spinach, chicken, dump it in something,
Yeah.
and eat it.
Yeah.
Or you could get a salad kit. I guess you could get a salad kit that has spinach in it.
Yeah.
You don't have to like eat a can of spinach mixed with a can of black beans. But if you want
I'm just
iron,
thinking-
baby,
I'm
it's
just
covered.
thinking of like a can of black beans. I don't think I've ever eaten them like right out of the can. I usually cook them.
Oh, they're good.
They're good just out of the
Strain
can.
them. You know what I like on a road trip is I'll get those little cans of peas. Canned peas are so good.
I
In a-
never had. I usually get them frozen.
I don't think you would like them because like frozen actual peas, they have a little crunch to them when you bite them. Like you have to bite through the skin and there's that little bit of a pop and it gives it that nice texture. Canned peas are mushy as all get out and they're so good and salty. And stick a fork right in there and I'll just eat cans of peas, salty sodium packed peas.
Yeah.
But I'm weird,
I mean,
so.
anything in a can is usually has a lot more sodium in it.
It's so good.
I'm not I don't eat a lot of canned vegetables. Like I will, like beans, like not really vegetable, but beans or something like that. And tomatoes, like diced tomatoes or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I'm going to throw into a meal, but like
I don't eat a lot of canned
eating
vegetables
them.
either. I make it sound like I do. Beans, but not really anything else.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I mean, you can't go
corn,
get,
maybe.
I guess you could, you know, it's funny because after I said it, now I'm thinking of these things. I'm like, you got to get a can of beans and you got to get a can of spinach and you got to throw them in a bowl. But you could just get like some salad with spinach in it. You don't have to like get the canned.
I know. I don't understand about the canned spinach.
It must be canned. Like now I'm like, well, I guess you don't have to go that far. It doesn't have to be that bad. What would your on-the-go high iron protein meal be?
I don't know. It wouldn't be that canned spinach.
Your whole face was like, oh. To me, that sounds like pretty good.
I mean, spinach is great for iron. Yeah, something like a salad or something.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a salad, you got what, like a handful of spinach leaves? Or if you get a can of spinach, you're getting those compacted greens. Like the amount of iron, again, I'm really focusing on the iron here. The amount of iron that's going to be in a can of spinach versus like a cup of spinach, that's going to be a big difference.
I mean, yeah, when it's cooked, it gets smaller. So there's a lot more in there. How much of the iron... I don't know. I don't know how stable things are. Like when you cook, I know when you cook certain things, some of the nutrients come out. Is iron one that, you know, is pretty stable?
That's a good question. So if you have a cup of raw spinach, which is going to be, you might maybe have 2 cups of spinach in a salad, you're going to get maybe 1.5 milligrams of iron. Whereas if you have a can of spinach, you're going to get like almost 5 grams of iron.
So if you want a really disgusting lunch, but you want to get those
iron
nutrients,
is your top priority, nothing else matters. Well, if that's the case, then you need to just go straight to the beef liver.
Yeah, that's true.
And eat it raw with your canned spinach and your black beans. I have the best ideas. Anyway, the point is, black beans and spinach have a lot of iron, and so does beef. Specifically, the bloodier beef, the better. Yeah. Chicken and eggs and stuff like that have iron, but it's a lot less. You're better off actually. Spinach and black beans actually have more.
How much does tuna fish have?
I don't think much. I think it's low. It's got it. Spinach. Swiss chard.
Yeah, all the like leafy greens.
Yeah. Oats, beans. You know, lentils have a good amount of fiber. For 100 grams, well, 100 grams of raw lentils, 6.7 milligrams of fiber. I mean, iron. We're talking about fiber or iron? Beef.
I have to supplement with iron.
Kangaroo.
3
milligrams. 3 milligrams of iron.
Like if you were going to, like a kangaroo, like the animal you're going to eat.
This must be like an Australian website.
Do they eat them? I didn't think they ate them.
The items listed, I don't know, is like beef, mussels, eggs, chicken liver, and kangaroo.
I didn't know that people ate them.
So you head on over to the kangaroo section of your local grocery store and throw that with a can of spinach. And then the logical thing that I'm going to say is that you said breakfast is usually good, dinner's usually good, and that lunch is good unless you didn't meal prep because you're just crazy. I would say it's probably fine to not worry so much about it because it sounds like what you do most of the time is get plenty of protein and iron.
Yeah.
Especially if you're eating your kangaroo nightly, your beef liver, you're probably fine.
Yeah, like I'm not as good with on the go meals because I'm rarely on the go. Yeah. And when I am, I don't care because I normally eat very well all the other times. So if I have like a meal or two that is a little off, it's not that big of a deal. But if
Right.
you're going to be on the go all the time, then I would suggest meal prepping to make it easier.
Yep. Yep, definitely. And then things are fortified with iron.
Yeah.
So cereal and like tofu
Yeah.
are also good things. But if you just aim for a protein and a vegetable in a grocery store, then you're going to be good to go. Good pod.
Yeah. It was another short one.
No, 52 minutes. I mean, I feel like that's good.
Okay. I think people want to hear us talk a little longer.
Should we
Not
make it an
really.
hour and a half?
I think this is nice. I think it's nice and short and sweet, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be grasping for content, you know?
Yeah.
Like dog buttholes. Like, we don't need to talk about that. It's like...
Both. Like, how did we go from, what were we talking about? I don't even remember.
Raspberries or some fiber.
Fiber to dog buttholes.
Oh, because it was the poop conversation.
Yeah, stools.
Yeah, I can't.
Stools.
I don't want to. Thanks for listening, Deadlifts and Pizza. If you liked this podcast, please like it and comment on it and leave us a 5-star review and tell us how great it was, because that helps us so much. Apparently, we don't know it yet, but apparently leaving 5-star reviews and really great comments like really helps the algorithm, and the algorithm helps us because it helps new people find us. So if you like this pod, that's what they say. That's what the gurus say. So if you liked it, please leave comments, 5-star reviews, like us, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, all the things. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.